It's the agent, Jordan English. How's it going, man? Great to have you
Mate,
here with us.
absolutely loving it. Thanks for having me on the show. It's yeah, really appreciate that.
You're making your debut on May 21, and been a lot of talk, a lot of anticipation, and we were just having a little chat actually about some of your previous endeavors. Some people think fighting is an extreme sport, but looking at kind of your resume here, it might not be the most extreme thing you ever did.
No, mate. So yeah, obviously, Dad got me into some extreme sports when I was obviously 6 years old, which was motocross racing, which isn't for the faint-hearted anyway. And from there, we've gone from sport to sport, and I think we've ended up on fighting. So yeah, definitely not not what other people would think.
Take me back to the first time you got in a bike, or even some of the mountain biking stuff you were mentioning just now about jump biking. I mean, that is wild, high consequence stuff.
So basically, started motocross racing when I was 6. Dad got me into it of a little bit of like a test day. At the end of that test day, he said, what did you like? How did you like it? It turned out he actually wanted to do it when he was younger. So he obviously thought, why not get my kids into it either? I think he just wanted to relive what he wanted to do, but through me. I don't think he understood what kind of turn it was going to take. 10, 12 years later, lots of debt. We were camping it around every weekend with the bikes in the back, doing the races and stuff like that. And, I was good, but never to a level of where it was going to go anywhere. Um, and then, yeah, obviously at about 14, my brother was still doing it as well. Obviously cost a lot of money. And then, yeah, it just unfortunately dwindled out a little bit as I got older because it became out of my own pocket. Started mountain biking, which compare a push bike to a motocross bike, a lot cheaper to run and to obviously buy. So bought that myself. The mindset was already there, as in I wasn't really scared of going up in the air and jumping things and stuff like that. A lot of people that pass their like moped license, right? I was riding a bike that goes just as fast as that when I was 6 years old. So for what people were getting used to at 17, I was already used to from basically a little one. And I remember the very first day on my mountain bike, I was trying to do 360s, backflips, all of that stuff. I wasn't being able to do them. I was landing on my face every time, but confidence is always sky high with extreme sports. So yeah.
Do you ever get hurt?
So funnily enough, touch wood, I didn't ever hurt myself on my bike. I did actually fall off once, just had a bit of stitches in my mouth, but yeah, nothing serious. You learn to bounce, don't you, when you're young?
And do you mention not really having fear? Are you telling me you were never scared, not even once doing some of that stuff? Because that is like when you watch these guys do that, and you it's kind of like watching you watch like Olympic ski jumping or something like that, and you think you see these training jumps that they go off of, and they work their way up to the bigger ones, right? But still, even those training jumps are like you think you just got to go and do it. Like, how do you actually get ready to go and do that? And then you watch these guys backflip stuff on their bikes, and you're like, maybe a foam pit, maybe, but I mean, you're never afraid?
The foam pit came a couple of years after because we didn't have a lot of stuff down here in Poole. And obviously, as I said, I wasn't like working or anything, so I wasn't like able to go and get trains everywhere. And it was like very maybe once a year you go somewhere, and that's where you try stuff. But the good old fashioned way was to get the spade, dig up the mud, make the mud a little bit softer. Obviously, not that soft still, and that was as forgiving as it got. So you learn how to either roll out of it or learn the trick and land it.
You're a maniac, man. Do you think that kind of gave you an edge or like a natural affinity towards getting into martial arts? Because some people, we've talked to a lot of people in these interviews, and they found martial arts because maybe they were bullied or maybe they were trying to lose weight. I've heard incredible stories of people getting their fitness game
Yeah, mate, I'll
through
take my
something
hat
like
off
martial
to all
arts.
these people. Yeah.
But what about you?
So then people, mate, I take my hat off to them. It's not an easy sport to get into. It's definitely not a sport that you want to look into if you're looking at it just for a good, have a good time on a Saturday night. Um, but with myself, even when I joined the gym, didn't have a lot of skill behind me, but people knew I didn't really know how to go 50%, 60%, 80%. For me in the gym, it's all or nothing, which unfortunately does come back when you go with the bigger guys. You hit them hard, they hit you hard back. So yeah, now when I got in that gym, mate, it was I've always had that mindset of being determined, grit it, bite your teeth down, get on with it, and give it your all. But I've always tried to hit hard, hit first, hit fast, And then here at Supreme, they've just taught me to hone that in with a bit more technique.
Are you obsessed about this sport?
Ask my partner. She's feeling the brunt of it at the moment, you know. But I would say I'm obsessed. Yeah. So I've obviously been massively involved in you know, not involved, but like enjoyed watching the UFC, Cage Warriors, Bellator, all of that stuff. Been absolutely loving it since I was younger. Um, Mum tried to not get me to watch it when I was younger. I was found the laptop, was watching it online as much as I could, that kind of thing. Um, but it was, you know, they never had kind of things that push you into it, like the charity fights, which is obviously how I started. I did one of them charity fights back in 2018, which is really what started it all. That was the first time I'd learned to at least tried to punch someone. I'm not one to get out in fights out in the streets and stuff. I don't agree with that kind of thing. You know, you never know what the next person is capable of, and obviously, you know, people nowadays. But to be honest with you, mate, once it started, there was no stopping it. I was having calendars on my desk at work, you know, UFC calendars. I mean, now I'm in training camp. I've been trying to go to bed and watch it on the Sunday morning. But my partner, every Saturday night, you know, I'm up till 4 or 5 a.m. watching it, screaming my head off. Turned 18, betting on it, you know. It's been everything for me. My partner's going to watch this back and be like, you know, she just wants a bit of time with us. Me and her go out for dinner and stuff, but can't stop talking about it even then.
What does she tell you? What is her response when she finds out you've been up till 4 and raided the fridge at 2, you know, waiting for the main card to start?
She knew it. She knew it was happening anyway. You know, sometimes we'd be like out for dinner, and if the UFC starts at 9 that night, I'd be like, "Oh, I've got to go." You know, starting at 9, and I used to do all my betting. I used to run my little social media page of like who to pick for the fights and that. So I've always looked at it in more of just watching it, watching people hurt each other or trying to hurt each other. I've always looked at it in an aspect of skill and how people win and stuff like that. And yeah, and to be honest with you, I was at another gym. I'm not going to name names, you know, but I was at another gym. I just didn't really get on well. A lot of politics, things like that. And to be honest with you, I felt like I was just a member there. They were there just to take, you know, just to take my monthly thing from me. And I never took out what I wanted to get out of it. And also with working hours, I'm in like a sales role. I have been since leaving school, which just tends to be like, you know, long hours till 7, half 6 at night. And a lot of these jiu-jitsu gyms, you know, they start their class at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I could never kind of find myself, you know, a place that would actually allow it. And I actually saying that now, I remember went to talk about jiu-jitsu gym once with ex partner at this point, right? But yeah, she said, "I don't want you fight, don't want you fight," and I said, "I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to fight." And within like 5 minutes of talking to this jiu-jitsu guy, I was saying, "Yeah, I want to fight," and all of that stuff. And I remember getting back to the car and she was saying, oh, like, yeah, she was going, "I thought you said you weren't going to fight." And so it's always been in me, but unfortunately I've just not found the right gym where it's enabled me to get to the level of where I'm at now. I take my hat off to Supreme. They've got great timetable for the classes, and they're very accommodating around work. And I mean, I've turned up at an old gym before from work being late. They said if you're going to be late, you know, there's no point turning up. And you know, what kind of thing is that? But here, whether I'm here for the half an hour of the session or whether I'm here for the whole thing, they're welcoming me in.
Is that a challenge, having a busy professional life and trying to be successful in a sport like this, which is an unforgiving sport at times?
So I'm very money driven as well. You know, that's obviously the backbone to life, isn't it? You know, without money, you're not going to be able to achieve a lot. So I put a lot of effort into my work, but as soon as that clock finishes, and whatever it is, whether it's my mountain biking, my motorbike racing, whether it's you know whether it's fighting, you get 120% from me. Nothing else, no more, no less, no less. Obviously more, always more, but no less.
Do you think watching tape made you a better fighter? Because like if I think about like before I even trained, I mean I was obsessed. You know, we were watching all the UFCs in the 40s, 50s, say maybe it was like actually in the 30s, right before I started training MMA, and you know, this visual representation of how fighting from every different style was being broadcast in the UFC at the time, at least to the West, right? It was our first exposure, at least in America, to MMA, at least mine. I know, you know, there were other events on and so on and so forth. But like I remember like eventually I moved to Europe and I used to wake up on a Saturday And I used to wake up and I used to watch in the morning what was going on in Japan. So whether that was Dream or, whatever. And then I'd catch up on midday what had happened in the US the night before. And then I'd watch whatever was happening live in Europe on Saturday night. And then I would stay up like you, right? And wait for the action to start in the US. Um, and those were crazy times. People were like, "What the heck are you doing? You got this green couch and this big screen TV, and all you do is watch tape, right?" But 10, 15 years later, here I am. And I mean, I've been able to work and travel the world and cover a sport that I love and live in that, right? And it is that obsession. It is one facet of that obsession that can contribute to your knowledge and understanding. Is that something you take? Because I talk to some fighters who are like, I don't ever watch any tape. I never watch what my opponent does. I don't hardly watch MMA. I'm hardly a fan of MMA. And they spend more time on, I don't know, diet. Like they do all their own food prep and they're completely
Yeah, of
obsessed with that.
course.
Some people find other things that work for them. But for me, this visual study was so important for my own career. Has that been the case for you?
I think definitely it's helped me massively. So it's like a lifestyle, isn't it? Like you said, I wake up on a Saturday morning and I get ready for that Saturday night. I'd get there, I'd go out to the shop. Obviously, back, when you're not in camp or when you've got no kind of, no reason, then a bad meal on a Saturday night, it's not going to do any harm to you. So go out, you get your wings, your pizzas, you get ready. And I know fine well every night that wasn't getting cooked till about 3 o'clock in the morning, but I used to watch these tapes without even realizing you're watching tapes, right? So you'd watch it because you enjoy it, but you learn obviously so much from just seeing things. It's like, children, they grow up visually learning things, don't they? And I noticed that when I had that charity fight, they'd be trying to teach people stuff and they just not grasping the basics fit. But because I've seen it, all it takes is for you to explain maybe just hand position or just that slight technique element to it. And all of a sudden I've got it. It's the same here. I asked Jordan maybe show me 3, 4 times and boom, I'm doing it. And then he's almost getting me to do it to the other guys in the gym because I picked it up. Um, and to be honest with you, I've engrossed myself massively in it. For example, before I even agreed to a fight, I've been training and stuff, but going up to GB top team in London, I've always I've been the kind of person that reaches out to these fighters to just see if they'll communicate with me. For example, I would class myself as a good friend now with Nathaniel Wood, absolute prospect in the UFC. And I've gone up, trained with him. He's helped me out massively, gives me tips. Same with Brad Pickett, and that's just purely from reaching out to him, asking him questions, and them actually being a genuine, decent person and responding to me. And that's now progressing to me. Just I could go up GB top team next week if I wanted to, by just messaging Brad or messaging Nathaniel. So it's become a lifestyle. And I think from watching it, from being so engrossed in it, I've absolutely loved it. I remember 5 years ago, before I'd even done the charity fight, doing shadow boxing while I'm on the phone at work, pretending to throw kicks and stuff. People must have looked at me across the office and thought, what is this lunatic doing? But it's been in the blood, since then. And it's just really nice now to actually have the techniques and the skills to actually show, instead of verbally saying I enjoy this, to actually show what I can do now. And I've come on leaps and bounds since joining this gym. As I said, I've never been consistently training in terms of had my charity fights. Before that, I didn't really do anything in terms of training. After the charity fights, as I said, I couldn't find any gyms really that were accommodating. Had a couple of injuries, as some people do, that obviously had to work through a couple of surgeries and stuff like that. On my hands and on my ankle specifically, just from general wear and tear from pushing myself in the gym on the punch bag or the running machine. And once that got over it, I joined here and I've just seen my absolute skills go through the roof. And now the people I used to be technically scared to spar, I used to hit them, and as soon as I landed a jab, I'd be like, oh, here we go. And then I'd like turtle up a little bit, But now, I give them a run for their money. We have sparring on Fridays, and I get messages on Friday night saying like, dude, you gave me some trouble tonight, and they, I've dropped a couple of people in training, and I'm not just dropping them, but they're not allowed to be sparring for the next week or two, that kind of thing, and drawing blood. And obviously, you never want to do that, but it shows that obviously the skill is becoming there, and that's really what I'm looking forward to. I put in so much hard work for this. Not just in training, but every single element, the diet, the mindset, the cardio, the training, everything, watching tape of similar fighters to me, reaching out to fighters to see if they can give me advice on certain areas, this, that, and that. And obviously under the guidance of Jordan and Natalie, especially Jordan and Natalie, they have just absolutely made my stuff go through the roof. Jordan's submissive, fighting wrestling is insane. Natalie's, one-to-ones. I have one-to-ones every single week with Natalie, even before I knew I was going to be fighting on Supreme. As I said to you before we started the call, I've been working the last 2 Supreme events, so it's always been there, and I'm just absolutely looking forward to just showing what I'm made of, to be honest with you. And I'm not cocky, but I'm so confident in myself, and it might come across, but it's about finding that right balance, isn't it? As Conor McGregor once says, be confident in your preparation, because that's how you're going to gain your confidence, and that's how I've been looking at this. And that's probably why my partner is, we went to London for her birthday, start of April. She's going to be like, do you not forget my birthday straight away? Start of April, we went to London. And, I'm like eating my oats on the train up there, and she's eating the street food, and I'm not, and I'm just smelling it. That is the kind of mindset I've got for this. So, and it's not just for this once. It's not a one-off. We're not here to just have a fight, see how we go, and be able to say, right, I'll post it on Instagram. That's not what we're about here. We're about doing this just to get that start of that record and keep going.
Well, they do call you the agent, man, and a good agent is always obsessed with accomplishing the mission. And it sounds like that is something that is a living, breathing entity for you. And you know what? Shout out to Brad and the guys up at GB Top Team. It's an amazing experience. It's got to be for somebody like you going in and learning the sport. I mean, Nathaniel Wood, I've known him for as long as just about he's been competing. An incredible story. And so many others there. I mean, you probably met like Mike Ekindeo. Have you ever trained with him?
Mate. So I haven't met Mike Ekindeo yet, but you've obviously got Don Wooding.
That guy
Brad,
too. Yep.
Even though they might not be well known, you've got Jordan Muir. You've got loads of guys up there. I'm sure you've got Lon Cavan. I think that's how you say his surname.
Yep. I called one of his first fights ever. I called when he was still a young kid. I think he had just become like a teen. I think he was like 13 or 14.
Dude,
at Fury MMA. Yeah.
That gym is, I don't know if you've seen their new gym as well, but yeah, insane. And it's nice for Jordan to be, to be friends with them and stuff, because it's about working together, isn't it? And just making each other better. And obviously having these connections as well, that could be that pathway to these bigger ones. Nothing against Supreme. They're the best upcoming best upcoming show in obviously the South, if not the best. But everyone wants to get to that UFC. Everyone wants to get to that Cage Warriors, that maybe not even Bellator, I don't necessarily, this is how much I watch it. I don't necessarily agree with how Bellator do their promotions and their marketing. I go and watch Bellator in London, and sometimes you don't even realise the fighter's walking out. I think a Supreme event's better than a Bellator event, and that's why I'm really, really proud to be on this.
It's an amazing time to be part of this scene, right? It's the sport has changed so much in even the last 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. Even looking at going back to GB Top Team, like someone like Nick Bagley. I remember when he had just started fighting.
Yeah, Nick Bagley. Yeah.
Look at him now.
Because he was on Supreme as well, wasn't he? Yeah, I know. He was on Supreme, wasn't he? A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And look at him. I went up to watch Cage Warriors in London. I think it was maybe start of April, or maybe March. Can't remember. But they're all on that card, So and it's nice. It's nice to Andy Manzola as well. I knew Andy Manzola before I'd even started training. I remember watching him against some big old guy he's fighting. I remember watching him fight him. It's really nice to see these people where back in the day you would look at them like these famous celebrity almost. You'd look up to them, and now they're putting a stripe on your belt. They're tapping you on the shoulder saying, mate, that was amazing. It's been such an incredible way for it to all come about, and it's only gonna get better from here, right? So the drive, mate, honestly, the drive, the confidence, the motivation is there, and I'm absolutely buzzed. I can't wait. These 3 weeks can't come quick enough.
So a confident, motivated James, the Agent English, is going to be fighting September, is going to be fighting May 21 in Supreme Championships. James.
If it's going to be in September, we need to have another fight before then, So yeah, May 21st. Let's get it.
Yeah, I haven't had enough coffee yet today. Listen, but let's reel this one in. Who you fighting? What's going to happen? Give us a prediction.
So I think so I don't Ellis Osborne, nothing against the guy. I don't know what he's like. I don't know who he is. We've got some mutual friends because obviously we live in the same area. I know he's a bit taller than me. He's a bit skinnier than me, but we're going to both weigh in that day on the same. Um, and I'll buy him a beer after because I'm going to feel pretty bad because he's going to want to take this up as a hobby after. He's not going to really want to fight again.
How does it end?
Stoppage, definitely.
When?
Mate, I'm not going to say first round, second round, third round. As I said, this is my amateur debut. I just know that I'm going to bring fast pace. I'm a savage. I'm going to hit hard. If he wants to go to the ground, we'll take it to the ground. If I want to take it to the ground, we'll take it to the ground. I know for a fact, though, it's going to be a good night. Everyone's going to love it. And there's going to be a stoppage.
Over or under 50% chance it's a knockout?
Doesn't matter what it is. Probably a knockout. That's what all my teammates are telling me. I don't know how to hit less than 100%.
So 51% chance it's a knockout. If it's a submission, what's a submission?
That'd be spilling the beans, wouldn't it, about my favourite ones. I've got some cheeky ones. I can come from one side of you to the other. I've got some cheeky ones up my sleeve. But it'll be to choke you out.
It'll be a choke.
It'll be a choke. We'll give you that.
They're effective, right? I mean, it's one of the best things because you got, pain compliant submissions and all these different sorts of things. But nothing more easy than putting the guy out from a choke, right?
Definitely. And if you can do me a favour and not tap, because how cool would that be, right?
Bro, Jordan the Agent English. Jordan English is going to be there May 21, Supreme Championships. Any final shout outs to the fans and why they got to be there to watch you?
Just shout out to my partner. She's obviously took the brunt of it all. The early mornings, when I'm hungry. I'm on weight now, so she's actually quite happy. The calories have gone up because so I've been doing it right. The weight's gone down, but she has took the brunt of it. So I do shout out to my partner, but also shout out to my teammates. We've become a bit of, we've become a family. After the training yesterday, for example, we was all sat round, we all had a hot drink, chilling out with Jordan and Natalie's children, playing around. It isn't just, we're not just here just to teach some moves and go home. We're becoming a family. I want to shout out Jordan and Natalie as well, Andy Manzolo, Matt Framps, who's our BJJ coach. It's all coming together. And as I said at the start of this, it's only going to go up from here.
Jordan English, thanks for coming on, man. Best of luck on Supreme, and we'll see you then.
Cheers, Chris. Take care of yourself, mate. I'll see you then, all right?